So it seems now that one of the most expensive Warhammer 40k miniatures around won't be made by Games Workshop. A few weeks back they announced an official partnership with Weta Workshop, saying that they'd have some sort of snazzy 40k collectibles coming in the near future. Now though it seems that all is revealed, it looks like Games Workshop has got together with them to make some rather snazzy Space Marine statues. The first miniature is going to be featuring Lieutenant Titus, a rather glorious depiction of the Lieutenant coming out in the upcoming Space Marine 2 game, standing proud and stomping a Hormagaunt into the dirt beneath his boot. Looks like these statues won't be coming cheap though. If you want one, then it's going to set you back over $1,200 including shipping, though it does seem like a pretty cool miniature for collectors who have that kind of cash to splash around. Let's take a look at the miniature that they've got, the deals they're offering for it and how it works, and the next 40k miniatures that are going to be getting similar sort of cool statues on top of this. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today we're taking a look at perhaps the most expensive Space Marine miniature out there now, and talk about what looks like it's coming from this partnership from Games Workshop and Weta Workshop. I must admit I was kind of interested to see what was going to be happening out of this. Games Workshop on a community post sometime in early September mentioned that they were working with Weta Workshop to produce some sort of collectible things. Had a little bit of a teaser video, but no real concrete details that much, just a few of the people working at Weta saying how they enjoyed collecting Warhammer. Many of them had been for many years, and they were enjoying working with Games Workshop. The article vaguely promised some world-class collectibles, which I guess given Weta's normal offerings maybe wasn't too hard to work out. For those who haven't heard of them before, Weta are basically a general-purpose design studio specialising in fictional worlds. They're basically quite a lot of different disciplines of creatives all under one roof. I feel like the place that I was most familiar with them before was on the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings films. I feel like that was definitely a name that I heard around the releases of those, though they've certainly gone on to do plenty more since then, of course. They have film and TV departments, different private commissions and exhibit things, both for digital and in-person display pieces. Could be good for museums and exhibits and visitor centres. But notably for this Games Workshop collaboration, they also do collectible statues. They've got big ranges from the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits, but they've got plenty of others. A few offerings for things like The Witcher, Tomb Raider, and the Dark Crystal. It seems that the fruit of this is some big-scale 40k statues, of which Lieutenant Titus is the first, but they've also announced and basically shown off a couple of the next upcoming sculpts. Getting onto the Titus miniature itself though, and as mentioned it does command a pretty hefty price tag. One of these slightly ridiculously snazzy statues would set you back $1,200, just under £1,000 or around about €1,100, and in this postage isn't included as well, it's calculated individually. It looks like for places like the US and UK it'd be an extra $200 or so, and some places might need to pay import taxes as well. Kind of safe to say that these are luxury display pieces, very much not aimed at the average hobbyist, but for either people with a lot of money to burn and really like the setting, or just super into 40k and willing to save up for it, and it would give them that much enjoyment. I must admit I think the statue itself is a pretty cool and utterly brutal looking one. It's a pretty big miniature, standing at 61cm tall on a 40cm base, aimed to be around 1/6 scale for what a Space Marine would be in real life, if there were such a thing. Looks like they've really gone to town on this one. His armed with a chainsaw and bolt pistol, resplendent in the colours of the Ultramarines, and some really quite cool inlay on the shoulder pauldrons that you often wouldn't be able to see on miniatures. Plenty of scratches and battle damage over his armour. He's clearly mid-fight as opposed to just fresh out onto the battlefield, and the thing that can't really be ignored is that he's just crushing a Hormagaunt into the dirt. Really quite brutal and gory looking, maybe kind of appropriate for the Space Marine games, and given that this is Warhammer 40k, the base has got a whole bunch of skulls on as well, because why not? I like the fun little details as well. They've got some rather nice little purity seals hanging off him, and you can just about tell that his helmet comes with some backlit lenses as well, so I guess even in the dark you can have him staring out at you with a pair of sinister red eyes. Weta statues are made from high-quality polystone according to their website, basically a sculpture as opposed to a plastic or resin miniature as we're more used to seeing, I guess. And these ones come pre-painted, they're individually hand-painted by skilled people with airbrushes, so I'm sure that that's quite a lot of the miniature's value overall there. You're not just paying for the cast of the sculpt, but also essentially to have it commission painted in a similar style to this. I guess it does mean that there could be some individual variations from model to model though. They do say on the website that the paint job might not be 100% the same as their showcase piece here. This one's the Battle Line version, though there is also a limited edition one. It comes with an interchangeable head or helmet, so you can have him helmed or unhelmed. And overall, I must admit, I do think that the miniature is really quite fun. I like the idea that there's stuff like this out there, even if realistically I don't think it'd be anything that I'd ever invest in myself. Even with Games Workshop's prices, you could get a lot of Warhammer for that same cost. They do have a few other shots as well. There's a bit of a better view of the Hormigaunt meeting its rather grisly end down on the base there, plus a quick look at his backpack. And here's the limited edition miniature. This one basically I think only has the major change of getting a customizable weapon option. You get the option to swap out the chainsword for a brutal looking thunder hammer, both of them soaked with gore. This one is again significantly more expensive than the standard one though, an extra $200 US, or around about the same sort of equivalent in pounds or euros. As cool as thunder hammers are, I think that I could probably live with just the chainsword if it were me. Apparently they're only going to make 1,300 of these ones, so I guess just a little bit of an upsell there if you want a super fancy Titus. Otherwise, in the teaser video they did also give us a sneak peek of the next ones that they're going to be making. According to the video, they've chosen 4 different characters from across the 40k universe. The next one's going to be Abaddon the Despoiler. Looks like his statue will be fairly close to his miniature's design, lofting Dracnian above his head and beckoning out with the Talon of Horus. Then for the third sculpt that they've come out with, it's going to be Saint Celestine. We get rather a better look at her miniature with the pictures that they showed there. I believe that these are the original sculpts before they've been finalised halfway through production process. Looks like she's rising up towards the Emperor's Light there, with the ardent blade in full fire mode. It looks like it's burning away there. I'll certainly be interested to take a look at those when Games Workshop do finally unveil the full sculpts of them. In the video they also teased that there will be one more miniature. I believe from previous rumours there's a chance it could be an Orc sculpt. If so, maybe Ghazghkull Thraka, though that would seem like a bit of an undertaking really. If they are going to have him at the same scale, he would be kind of enormous. I guess we'll wait and see on that front. In any case, let me know what you make of the really big Space Marine statement piece. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts down in the video. Obviously appealing to a pretty niche demographic within the hobby, but I'll certainly be interested about any of you who will be thinking about ordering one of those. Could you see a big chunky and spectacularly violent Titus sitting on your shelf or something? If you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, or I'll certainly keep the regular 40k videos coming. I do tend to post new ones just about every day. Finally, if you have been enjoying all the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well, and you can find that linked in the video description if you'd like to help support. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, seeing certain videos early each week, and automatic entry into the channel's monthly prize giveaways with a chance to win some really big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description below. In any case, an absolutely enormous thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.